Cute. Okay, I figured out what's going on. I've been talking to myself. This is fantastic. So this is the first time we're doing... This is great. This is the first time that I'm doing a straight to YouTube. I usually do Facebook, and Facebook immediately picks things up, which is just... It's so much more efficient. So apparently you have to push the go live button and it doesn't realize you've gone live. So I did all of this work trying to go live and I got to do it all over again. It's great. It's fantastic. So anyways, welcome guys to Sunday service. And I will, because I like doing this stuff. And I was talking to myself for the last 20 minutes. Go figure. That's me. I'm generally talking to myself. Figured that out. It's alive. Holy cow. Dude, that's funny. That is silly. Why does it not pick this stuff up? Anywho, I'm about a 10-second delay from everyone. What we were saying, holy cow, is that all sorts of good news today. I will go back to the beginning. I'm glad I didn't have a script that I had to follow. That's funny. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the comment on the shirt. So... let me pop up that screen. Boop-a-doo-boo. We've got an inverse head and shoulders. Inverse head and shoulders is perhaps one of the most bullish patterns. It, of course, means that our lovely friends over at the Bear Desk have lost. And this is our neckline. So an inverse head and shoulders is one shoulder up to the neckline, down to the head, up to the neckline, down, and we didn't go as far, showing that the Bears have lost the fight. The Bulls have picked it up. We are now over the neckline, and we should have our breakout. Now, when we're talking about this breakout, we do have to keep in mind, of course, and I hate talking about this stuff because I think it's stupid. I really think the whole idea of a CME futures gap is stupid because this has nothing to do with the CME futures. They settle in cash. They don't even settle in Bitcoin. It's ridiculous. At about 58,800, 700, thereabouts, smart money is, of course, putting in buy orders because traditionally we have wicked down to pick up those buy orders. So if you wanted to grab some cheap Bitcoin before breakout, that would be a place. Oh, and this is a good place to remind you, I'm not a financial advisor. This is all opinion. And for entertainment purposes, because apparently I'm funny. Maybe, sometimes. Usually when I have a script. I'm funnier when I have a script, usually. So, yes, that's the Bitcoin. Yeah, inverse head and shoulders. Really kind of fantastic. I think you could probably also chart this other side over here, this other shoulder, as probably a cup and handle. Teacup and handle. Yeah, probably. Inverse head and shoulders, really fantastic. The new pole is looking grand. Our belief is nice. And we are nowhere close to euphoria and greed. A great way to read this chart, of course, is looking here. At 61,000, we had 0.73, and actually here, over here, 57,000. Last time we hit 57,000, this was way back February 21st when we first got up to 57,000 as an all-time high. We almost jumped into euphoria and greed. We, of course, did not, and we did a minor correction. I think it was like 25%. And then we have been resetting the Newpol ever since. And we've reset it to the point at which we have the Newpol way down, and we've got a lot of headroom to jump up. Our current stock to flow value, the current value today of Bitcoin should be, according to stock to flow, $76,000. We are, of course, around 59,000, 60,000, depending on what minute you're watching this. Yeah, it's really great. There's a lot of headroom there to move up and snap onto the stock to flow, which we do traditionally do. Stock to flow, of course, is the model by Plan B, our friend Plan B, over on my little list. This is Plan B at $100 trillion US dollar, and that is the founder of the stock to flow. One of the other indicators for a top is the Pi Cycle top. It is a joke. Stop paying attention to these people talking about Pi Cycle top. Crypto needs to stop talking about the Pi Cycle top. It is a stupid, stupid, stupid indicator. I can't stand it. It has absolutely nothing to do with the market. It's clear that it doesn't work, so stop using it. Really. I think I tweeted that out at these people. Yeah, so without further ado, some of the other things, Cardano is, of course, consolidating. Not huge movements. It did wick up here into some of the resistance area. So we'll see how that plays out over the course of the next week or so. As we saw the last time it really jumped up before the Coinbase listing, way back. And it's not even on this chart because I have Coinbase as the basis of this chart. Yeah. So last time everything else was falling and Cardano was rising. I think that was like February-ish, end of February, early March when that was happening. And it was really awesome because it jumped up to like $1.20 from like 75 cents in the course of just a matter of days, which was really great. And if the right side inverted shoulder is lower than the left one, would the pattern be bullish? I believe that would show we were in a bearish pattern if the right one is lower than the left one. If they're about the same or the right one is higher, we would be in a bullish pattern there. And if this one was lower, we would be heading into something else. We would actually, instead of being an inverse head and shoulders, this would become some form of a falling wedge or a bearish pattern. It would, yeah, that would be a bearish pattern. Please, with the profit hero strategy, can I set up 2 more bots based on either US dollar, tether, base currency? Please don't do that. We only say set up US dollar tether. Using Bitcoin as a base is never a good idea. Thank you, Tyan, for doing these great auto replies, which is fantastic. Yes, it's going to be available to rewatch later. Please enjoy the outside weather. Get out of your house. Stop looking at the charts. Bitcoin will be here today, tomorrow, and the next. And I don't think I have to remind everyone to look at the monthly chart. Seriously, this is Bitcoin at its beginning in 2014. And, it's this is it today, way up here, okay? It's going to be around for a while. You'll be fine. So please go out there, enjoy. Smash the like button if you have a shot. Also, leave comments. I love Modern Investor. That's a really great channel to watch, and he always asks people to leave what they're eating for breakfast. I'd say tell me if you're having coffee or tea, many of you are from Europe, so what are you having for dinner? That's the truth. Yeah, that is the truth. So I'm at about a 10-second delay from you guys. So if you write something, don't be worried. I'm getting to it. I was actually, when we figured out I needed to push the go live button, I was doing back testing. I was showing everyone back testing, which I think is a great thing. We are in a trend, which I determined, according to the charts, probably started around March 25th. So this is a little bit longer than I personally usually test. Usually I would be testing somewhere around here. So this was April 7th. And that's a very clear, concise pattern right there. But I did 1.5. This is 2. And now I'm going to do a 2.5 and get that started, because I usually do 1.5 to 2.5. That's where I've seen the best kind of values to look at that trailing stop loss. Anyone who's got a question about the trailing stop loss, basically most of the strategies we use with Dex, and this, of course, is based on Crypto Hopper. DexStrats is the Discord most of us are on, and that is our strategy. Some of us are doing profit heroes. Some of us are doing scalping. I'm a scalper, so I'm trying to do fast trades at lower percentages. And so, yes, I have found that approximately 1.5, 2, and 2.5 are the best ones to double check. Trailing stop loss, if it hits 1.5 and drops 0.5 according to this, it will sell. If it ends up being 2 as the best point to set the trailing stop loss at, it arms at 2 and then sells 0.5 under. And of course, 2.5, it would sell at 2-ish. Or hopefully it hits 3.5 and then sells at 3. Or hopefully I'm watching it hits 3.5 and I just manually sell it, because that's just how I like to be. Again, not financial advisor, but, you know, I like to put my money back into the market. What can I say? You're preparing to commence next week. That's great, Moses for top. Fantastic. Yes, we have all the installation processes stated in the documents we've got available on the DexStrats website. So there we go. We're testing 2.5. That is on, of course, Aave, and that will be done shortly enough. These things do take time. I do generally go through all of the tokens at one point or another. I definitely do a back test. If I see things that are selling at like 0.5 or less, I definitely go in. In fact, if anything sells under 1% in profit, I usually go in and start re-back testing it to see if there's a better point to arm the trailing stop loss at, because that starts making me concerned. I don't like things to sell under 1% profit. So, and I don't think any of you guys do either. What's the great thing about bot trading? It trades while we're sleeping. I love it so much. I wake up in the morning. I think I made like 10 trades last night while I was sleeping. There is nothing in the world that's greater than that. Okay, so the 2.5, which is usually the highest I go, shows a max profit 8.6. If we go over to the backtesting history, we can see that 9.6 arming trailing stop loss at 1.5 was the best option. So what I do is I will deploy that. Yes, deploy configuration. And unfortunately, something we've discovered, it does not then redeploy certain other settings, like your dollar cost average. So we have to return that on. And I have talked to Crypto Hopper. Hopefully they are going to fix this, because it's ridiculous that I have to go in every time and fix my dollar cost average. I have a personal way I set that up that you just saw. Everyone else has their own feelings on risk tolerance. And I don't like things dollar cost averaging forever and ever and ever, because it's money that's out of the market and it's not trading. And I don't like that. I don't like that very much at all. Daily HODL, some great news coming up. Cardano, Charles Hoskinson did confirm that August is the rollout of smart contracts to the entire net. Before that, at the end of this month, testnet is going to get smart contracts, and they're going to be experimenting with those. There's lots of news about Cardano possibly becoming one token or another, possibly currencies in different African countries. I know Ethiopia, I believe, has a city that's going to be using Cardano for some of their civic stuff, which is awesome. Last week, we had the redenomination of MPXS into Pundix, after which it dropped quite a bit. Although this really isn't a new listing, it reminded me of ADA. Would you say this is commonly seen behavior when things get relisted? You know, it really depends. I am in New York, so some of these things, actually most of these things, I really don't have access to. That is something you do for the strategies or just for AI stuff. I mainly just do strategies. I haven't futzed around with the AI yet. All of that stuff is, of course, over on the AI channel. Those people are amazing, and they've got lots of information and research on the AI. And I know a lot of people love to just have 10 different strategies working for them and use the AI to figure out which one is best. And I say go for it. You know, enjoy. You've got to do what you have to do for yourself, understanding your own risk tolerance. We all have very different risk tolerances because we all have very different lives and different amounts of money we're willing to risk, because this is a really high risk venture. Now, that said, if everything works out, we'll all be very happy. It's great. You guys are some of the first. You're some of the first 1 to 5% of people who are figuring this stuff out. I mean, it's like being in email back in 1980 and having to put stuff in the header and actually like write you're sending from CompuServe to Prodigy or something like that, which is really just neat to understand that you're that early. It's crazy. So yes, I actually do put out config pools. You can see I banned this last week because it was repeatedly not selling in places that I was happy with and having issues selling. So I was like, that's it. Goodbye. You're done. You are the weakest link. Oh, that was my favorite. Back in the 90s, there was this show. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. And so it is goodbye at the moment. Now, it might do well, and I might actually put it back. There are a number of things that over the last couple of months I've been in. Oh, that's New York, by the way. I'm pretty sure you can hear that. Sirens, day and night. That was all we heard during the pandemic. It was silent outside, and sirens was the only thing breaking the silence. So, yeah, there is no real commonly seen behavior. Getting back to what you were asking, Kara, there is no real commonly seen behavior because this is such a young market. So saying something is commonly seen behavior is kind of hard to put a thumb on. Coinbase is going public this next week. There's a good chance that the markets could really explode because there's a really good chance they've been wash trading and trying to keep the markets down so that when their IPO went public, then Bitcoin goes public and their value skyrockets because there are going to be a lot of people who their risk tolerance is, I'm going to buy stocks in Coinbase rather than buy Bitcoin. And so it's like a secondary, I own Coinbase, so I own Bitcoin. There are going to be a lot of people who just do not understand how this market works, and that's okay. They really don't have to. Some bullish news for XRP, which has been going nuts. XRP, do I even have it here? I'm not even allowed to have it anymore. I don't even, who's trading it? Is that over on Binance? Yeah, it's over on Binance. Yeah, some bullish news. Kind of crazy. And it is now not at 25 cents again. It's at $1, practically up to $1.50. Okay, so this is a very, very, very good example of why when a project you get involved in and loses a bunch of value and it's after the bull cycle and you're kind of cleaning out your bags and saying, well, that's lost money, and you reinvest that somewhere else, this is a very good reason why you don't do it with 100%. Maybe you do 50% and reinvest it somewhere in a good project. Maybe you do 75%. Maybe you do 90%. But you just keep a couple around because a project like XRP, which is inherently deflationary, they actually burn the XRP every time it's used, could have value one day. And some of us are young enough where we can say, okay, in 30 years, if this is worth $10, then I get some money back. Tyan woke up this morning to $34 in profits with a minus $20 in positions, so happy right now. I finally got a bot working after all this time. You know, I think for the first 4 weeks, I was playing around with settings. The Discord wasn't really set up yet. It was hard to find the Discord. This was back in January. And I was futzing around with settings, and things weren't totally like, I was basically breaking even. And then found the Discord and lots of helpful people. We've really exploded. I think we're like around 3,000 members at this point, maybe even more. I haven't even looked today. But it takes a little bit of time. You kind of like beat the dusty rug and figure out what your risk tolerance is and how much you're willing to lose or win or profit or lose. Yeah, something like that. Anywho, I'm blathering on. Do drop your comments, drop your questions into the general. Don't forget to check DCA% if you have it set up. Yeah, do make sure you have your DCA set up properly. You do want, at the very least, 20% at the moment. Some of us like 30%, some of us like 40%. Some people even use 60%. Yes, I'm over there. Hi, Indiza. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Hope all of you are well. I know some of you have fantastic weather today. Yeah, come over and watch. Smash the like button. Smash the share button. Yeah, we're getting this all figured out. This is the second time we're doing this, and I'm planning on doing this every Sunday and then hopefully start doing videos during the week, depending on how my schedule works out. Tell us how your buddy discovered Metallica. Yes. So my buddy, Michael Lego, was an A&R rep, and he discovered Metallica. He also discovered Rob Zombie and a number of other white. Yeah, there were a number of metal bands he discovered back at that time. Michael Lego, there's a great movie about him on Netflix and a couple of other places called Who the F Is That Guy? It's really great doc if you want to see some of the early history. He's also a recovering alcoholic, recovering drug addict, and so it's also part of his sober story, which it's really interesting. It's really neat, and it's really cool how you can see how people can repair their relationships and kind of move on with life after they've had some tough stuff happen. So really cool movie. He's also got a really great book. Awesome stuff. I love Michael. Yes, he discovered Metallica. He also takes some really cool pictures of like tattooed up dudes. So rock on, man. Yeah, watch that. It is a cool documentary. It's great. I really love it. Awesome dude. One of my oldest buddies here in New York. I've known him since I moved here practically. And he saw a show I was in off Broadway, and we became friends, which is really neat, before I moved off to LA and did a bunch of TV. So yes, where are we? Yeah, config pools. I keep config pools for everything. I backtest everything. My backtesting is not necessarily how your backtesting is going to look, because I'm in New York on Coinbase. So where our Cardano went up to $1.85 when it was released on Coinbase, it did not do that everywhere else. And there were a lot of people arbitraging between the exchanges. So yeah, that's awesome. And I'm glad you guys have joined us today. Where are we? We had all sorts of awesome, great news. I finally sold off ADA, which was in my bag for 4 days. Well, the great thing about ADA and some of the others is that, yes, of course it repurchased it, because it's a great token. The great part about ADA is that it should be part of your long-term HODL. My personal theory on everything is that you should have 50% of the money you've got in the market in a long-term HODL, and that includes, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Litecoin, depending on how you feel about the project, maybe even XRP, depending on how you feel about the project. But these are positions you want to hold for 4 years, 8 years, 10 years. You really want to hold these things out, because you believe that for you, the wealth and the ability to change your life, you're willing to wait until you're 40 or 50, because a lot of you guys are pretty young, which is awesome. I think it's amazing. There's not a lot of people who are older who are involved in this market. It's kind of like the young people rebelling and taking over the financial system that screwed them all. Doesn't seem any uptrending to me, and it was with AI, with all strategies and the trends. ADA is at the moment trading sideways. I hope you're over there on the live chat, on the live stream with us. It is trading sideways, and it is consolidating into this, all of a sudden, there we go. It's consolidating into the end of this wedge, likely going to pop up. Yeah, it is accumulating. It is consolidating. This is a really healthy pattern. This is a pattern that we really love and adore. I got to find my right tool. Price range. I mean, we're looking at, this is a 14% here, and that was April 7th. Today was oh, come on. I love when it doesn't quite grab where you're looking, because I'm so zoomed out. There we go. I mean, we've got like 8% moves here, 10% move, and 10% moves. Things work really well on the scalping bot, especially if you are doing like 6% moves and 4% moves and things, because, that's where we really see the bread and butter. If it continues going up and down and up and down and up and down, this is a really healthy place for someone who's doing bot trading. Really healthy, let's check these like really small moves. These small moves in the crypto market are big moves everywhere else. That's 7%. That's a 7% move, which is more than enough to make some money. That's a 9% move. Now, I can understand how you feel about this if you got in and got the Cardano like up and around here, which is what it sounds like happened to you, Python noob. I really understand that. And it stinks But, you hold a little bit longer, and this one is going to work itself out. It really is following the fib. It's right in here, and at a certain point, it's going to stop testing, and it's going to start bouncing up there. And that could happen with Bitcoin, or it could happen outside of Bitcoin, as we saw much longer ago. I have to change my exchange to look at this. Got to go over to Binance. So Binance, and let's see if it pulled up all the price action way back. Let's see here. Let's go day by day, pull up all the price action. Yes, 2018. I mean, really, like, this is Cardano, which is just, I mean, that's 2021. It started at 18 cents. Back on January 3rd of 2021, it was at 18 cents. 18 cents. Stop complaining. Like, look at this. 18 cents. You realize if you had bought I can't even. The point is that these people were really irritated down here when this is trading sideways, and it was going between 25 cents and 40 cents. I get it. And now people are really irritated because it's going between 118 and 136. And I apologize if I'm using dollars instead of euros. I hope you guys can kind of do that yourself. We won't talk about Fahrenheit versus Celsius. I understand the benefits of Celsius. I get it. I get it. I wish American schools would teach it a little bit better. Metric system is definitely a better situation than what we have. Yeah, so stop complaining. It'll be fine. Trust me on this. Well, okay, this is not financial advice, but really, like, it's going to be fine, especially once smart contracts come in. Because really what you're looking at, and this is something we talked about last week, I'm just going to go over to CoinMarketCap. And so when people compare it to Ethereum, which has a $246 billion market cap, and you've got Cardano, which is a $39 billion market cap, they say, okay, well, 10x going up to $10 would make it a higher market cap than Ethereum. And this is where they're completely and utterly wrong, because what they're forgetting is that Ethereum has ERC20 tokens, which run on top of it and should be included in the market cap. And some of those tokens include Polkadot, which is a $37 billion market cap, nearly the same size as currently Cardano. So you throw that $37 billion on top of Ethereum. Now you're heading towards a $300 billion market cap. Uniswap running on top of Ethereum. I mean, you could even argue there's a large portion of US dollar Tether, which is running on top of Ethereum. And these things really should be included in its market cap. And at that point, all of a sudden, Cardano, when it comes into full competition with Ethereum, doing a 10x at some point, could happen. Will it happen? My personal price targets, I'm looking at $5 to $8. If it does hit 8, I have a certain amount that I will probably sell just to break even on the money that was put in. And not just break even, but maybe buy myself a present. Because we're in this to have some fun, guys. There's nothing wrong with taking profits on your hodl periodically. Just understand that you don't want to be the pizza guy who spent like 10,000 Bitcoins on a pizza. You really don't want to be the pizza guy. Storage is pretty hefty for me too, but not as bad as one. Things that I can and cannot have, I really... One Harmony. I think a lot of us have it in the bag. So let's look at One Harmony. That one I am not allowed to have because I am in New York State. So we're going to go over to Binance, which I think a lot of you guys are on. It's not terrible. I get where you guys are kind of scared about it because the bots tend to buy kind of high. And that is, that's a full-fledged, not terrible, but that is a full-fledged crypto correction. That's a 47% correction. And I get where that hurts. I really do understand. But we're in a consolidation pattern. So what we do here is we're going to do our fib retracement. We're going to go high to low. And a lot of the guys like to, welcome to New York, lots of noise. We're going to get rid of that one. We're going to get rid of that one. And really, when we're doing this retracement, this is where we're looking. We're looking for it to start bouncing off of this, the 0.618, and get into this channel, the 0.786 channel. That's what we're looking for it to do. And once it starts doing that, we're going to then hopefully get some separation from the 0.786 and then take off again. This could take days. It could take weeks. And, you know, this one, so let's see here. This project has been around since, okay, goes further. Is this a first bull cycle? This is its first bull cycle. That's tough. So at this point, you really want to look at this and say, okay, this is going into consolidation. That's fine. If this low, if one of these lows drops below this one, and this turns into dropping low, let's get a little thing out here. If this starts doing this number, and then does this, and then does this, then you really have to, I mean, I would start getting concerned if it broke underneath this. If it ended up in an 80% type zone, which I'm assuming would be down here, the real concern, of course, would start if it dropped below, like here. If it dropped out and it dropped below where it started at, oh, come on, there we go. If it dropped below here, then I would say you're in full poop coin territory. I've got to have like a stinger that pops up and like a big noise like Crown Crypto does, where it's like poop coin. At this point, look at the fundamentals. Is it a project you believe in? This one is going to take a little while. This one could likely take a week, 2 weeks. But if Bitcoin goes nuts, a lot of stuff is going to be pulled up with it. A lot of stuff is going to get pulled up with it. The market is predominantly tied to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes and it pops right back up into this channel and it's going nuts, then there you go. Everything else is going to get dragged up with it. This is also why you don't use Bitcoin as your trading pair. You do not use Bitcoin as your base trade because Bitcoin will rocket up. The other tokens and coins will follow, but not quite as hard. And then when Bitcoin eventually does correct, they'll correct harder. And so you just lose your shirt on those. And it's a terrible poopy instance. What's your thought about DeFi in general? Will we see mostly all these DeFi tokens exploding in price? Yeah, DeFi is relatively new. This is the first bull cycle where DeFi, decentralized finance, is really becoming a thing. Most of it runs on top of Ethereum at the moment. That would be Polkadot, Uniswap, PancakeSwap. All of these things are running on top of either, I think, Binance. Some of them run on top of Binance, but most of them run on top of Ethereum. It is the future. The idea of going through an exchange is really the antithesis of being in crypto. Not your coins if it's not your keys. So not your keys, not your coin. The whole idea is that you have your own wallet. You have your own crypto on your own wallet, and no one else can touch it at that point. There will be ways to eventually buy in without going through an exchange. There will be so many ways to get in. It's like email. I mean, at a certain point, we're just going to breathe it. It will be like the air we breathe, and we won't even know we're doing it. By the end of this year, Visa is planning on using Ethereum to settle transactions. That is just... We couldn't have considered that in 2017. The whole idea of Visa or MasterCard getting on. The big news in 2017 that never happened was that Starbucks was supposed to start taking Bitcoin, and Bakkt, that's B-A-K-K-T, who is owned by the International Exchange, ICE, International Exchange, whatever. They own it. They also own NASDAQ, I think. And they were supposed to start using Bitcoin and start clearing those things, but that never happened. That was the big bullish news that never happened. ETFs is another thing that has never really quite happened. America is so far behind everyone at this point. I mean, Canada has ETFs. Brazil has an ETF. I think there's 2 or 3 ETFs in South and Central America now. And America doesn't have it. Like, seriously? Seriously? It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes, I love pizza. Don't be the pizza guy. Can you get a Lambo on a pizza? Probably. Would you tell us new guys something about importance of default coin list and or coin selection in general? More is not better. It has been quite a topic last week. Maybe even give us some insights into your selection and thoughts behind it. So, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I'm in New York, so my coin list is substantially smaller than everyone else's. I have, at this point, somewhere around 30 tokens I'm allowed, and even though Coinbase is adding 1 inch and a couple of others, and that actually happened yesterday, I'm not allowed to touch them. I'm not. New York State doesn't even allow me to touch Tether. When I get Tether from someone, I have to walk across a bridge into New Jersey just to turn that into something. I can't do it when my location is in New York. It's ridiculous. So, CoinList. What is the best way of going over CoinList? Well, the best way to look at CoinList first off, depending on your exchange, depending on your region and location, is of course going through CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin is going to be the background of anyone's hodl. You're likely going to trade it. Corrections this bull market have not been bigger than 25%, which is insane because last bull market we had a number of 40% corrections, like solid 40-45% corrections, and we haven't had one of those this time around, which is insane. Anywho, Bitcoin. Ethereum, of course, really solid. With Ethereum, you have to talk about Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic, ETC, a lot of you guys have access to it, is the break off of Ethereum. So back in the days, some hackers got a hold of a bunch of Ethereum, and there was an argument in the Ethereum community, and the developers eventually decided to roll back those transactions and return the Ethereum to people. So that is where you get the current Ethereum blockchain, which is not necessarily the original code and not necessarily the original project. Ethereum Classic is the original project where the people lost their Ethereum. That it is still listed most places, and this is a good example to go back in, look at your history, look at your crypto history, and learn about this moment because this could happen very shortly again. We're in a point with Ethereum where Ethereum 2.0 is coming out. It's going to bring staking. It's going to move from proof of work using GPUs to mine Ethereum to proof of stake, where the transactions themselves are confirmed by people who are staking 32 of their Ethereum, and they're getting rewards for that. The miners, of course, have spent a load of money on having their mining system, having their rigs, and they don't want this to happen. They get a vote, and they have most of the vote when it comes to whether the new code gets initiated, which means we could have a solid hard fork, which becomes an Ethereum project, which is run by proof of work, and then we have a side project, which is the Ethereum run by proof of stake. And at that point, we would have somewhat of a battle between the two. What we ended up with last time is Ethereum Classic, which is worth $20, and Ethereum itself, which is currently worth around $2,100. So that's Ethereum. Binance Coin, which I understand, I have my own feelings on it. I think it's overpriced, and it's really pricing people out of being Binance VIPs. It costs over $17,000 right now to be a VIP level 1. That's a mess. XRP is doing well now. I don't have a lot of faith in it because it's a project that's wrought with a lot of issues. I would not have that in my long-term hodl more than a certain amount. It's a very high-risk project. Cardano, of course, which has been doing exceptional. It's up like 700% in the last 12 months. Just insane. If you have access to Polkadot, obviously doing well. You know, pretty much everything when you're heading through your top 10 or top 15 are projects outside of Doge, which is a joke. Those are that. Now, how many tokens you're using on Crypto Hopper really comes down to you. I'm doing more than I've done traditionally at the moment. I think I'm doing close to the 30 that I'm allowed to do. And I'm not quite seeing the volume of trading I was seeing when I was only trading 15. So I may be going through this next week looking at what behaved well, what's been up and down well historically for me on my exchange when I entered the market. Remember, the trades you're doing are not the same trades that I'm doing because our bots are getting totally different things at different times, and I may have money that's not available for the market at a time. You have money that's available for the market. So there's a bit of chaos involved in the whole system, and you have to understand that. So yeah, I may be changing. Wow, Brave is sending me more ads. I love BAT. Basic attention token is phenomenal and will be a huge project to watch. It's exploding. It's worth so much. And if any of you guys have old Steam pages, if you were on Steam, which was an old social media blockchain site, which I don't know how popular it is at the moment. I haven't put anything up on there for like 3 or 4 years. It's exploded. Steam dollars are worth like $8-9 yesterday. When I last looked, I need to transfer some of mine off and somehow figure out how to swap it. Because, again, something I'm not allowed to put on to my personal exchange. Yep, I added a bunch of coins. They did well briefly, then went deep bag. But I put the coin list back to the template defaults, removed a couple of coins, and I've been doing much better since then. There you go, mister. And I think a lot of this stuff is very new to all of us in a way. Some of us have been doing it for a couple of months. Some of us have been doing it for a couple of weeks. And I think best practices are things that we're going to have our thumbs on a little bit better after the end of this bull market. And I know that's a hard thing to stomach, but we're really early. And I know we're going to lose a bunch of you guys after the bull market's over because a lot of us go into bear winter and hibernate throughout most of bear winter. It's understandable. I basically hibernated through most of bear winter this last time around and totally forgot I had anything in the market. And it's a great time to buy because when you look at something like the stock to flow X model, which I love looking at, this is the new version of the stock to flow model. It is saying that we're going to be somewhere around a pretty stable $250,000 Bitcoin throughout until the next halvening. And so that's going to be, once we hit the top, which will be somewhere up here, probably at around $350,000 to $750,000 for Bitcoin, and that will hit likely sometime around-ish September, October. It will snap back under, and you can see how this works. Over the course of time, we've always gone parabolic over the stock-to-flow ratio, snapped back to stock-to-flow, gone parabolic, snapped back to stock-to-flow, gone parabolic, snapped back. This last time around, we had a dead cat bounce, which got everyone excited in 2019 that we were, things were going to happen, snapped back, and then we took off for this bull cycle. Hi, I use premium template and strategy. I use Bitvavo. I get this error. Oh, yeah, there's every single exchange is different, and some of them we don't have access to. EOS and ZIL is available on Bitvavo. Maybe there's an API error, maybe something else. So yeah, what else do people want us to talk about today? We've gone through some backtesting, the idea of backtesting. We've gone through stock to flow. We've gone through some of the current news. Things are going to be crazy this week. The Coinbase IPO is coming up. I don't have it in my calendar, but I think it's the 15th, 14th, 15th. Whatever it is, the market's going to go nuts. It'll go up or it'll go down. Who knows which one it's going to be? Maybe people take Bitcoin out and they buy into Coinbase. I don't know. That sort of stuff is up to you. We have talked about how the CME futures gap is currently at 58,700-ish. That's when the CME futures closed on Friday. They will be reopening right now. The time is approximately 11 a.m. the CME futures is going to reopen at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. So we're still about 5 hours off that. Some people will put buy orders down here. Sometimes it'll wick down and grab those. It usually does 9 out of 10 times. I get in arguments with people. I really don't think the CME futures should have anything to do with the Bitcoin market because they settle in cash, not in Bitcoin. It's just basically gambling based on what you think the price is going to be. I think it's ridiculous. CME futures is also going to be adding micro trades. They're going to be doing micro futures, so people will be able to trade fractions. They'll not trade, excuse me. They'll be able to gamble on the future price or the current price of Bitcoin using fractions of Bitcoin and putting dollars in and getting dollars out and never owning a Bitcoin. There are going to be some people who do this and think they have Bitcoin, and they don't. Members to leave honest reviews on CH, DexStrats if they haven't yet. Yes, guys, if you have not left a review for the strategies, the signal, the templates on Crypto Hopper, please go in there, leave an honest review, leave a couple stars. Tell us what you think. Always leave feedback. We are one of the largest communities, if not the largest community of people on Crypto Hopper, all centralized around one group of strategies, centralized around Dex. And it's a very helpful community. There's a lot of us who are out here trying to make sure everyone is helpful. Why do you prefer scalping over Hero? There you go. That's a great question, Garfield. I prefer scalping over Hero because I like fast, small trains. Small trains. Dear me. Small trades. I probably haven't had enough coffee yet. I love to see when the bot's done 100 transactions in a day, 200 transactions in a day. When we were around early February doing really well, I think I was doing a number of days where it was like 200 transactions, 300 transactions a day, which is amazing to see because when you're doing like 1%, 2%, 3% trades and they're all in there, it really adds up fast. It really does. How much do I scalp? I do not talk about my account value. I do highly suggest everyone in the community takes good security precautions, does not talk about how much they're trading with. Talk about your percentage. Say, hey, I did this, I did that. Do not talk about direct numbers. It is for security purposes. You might be in places of the world that decide to regulate and get rid of, which will never work, but try to regulate. And I don't want you getting in trouble. I don't want to get myself in trouble. We're having trouble with banks. HSBC this last week said we're not going to allow you to buy MicroStrategy stocks, and we're also not going to let you buy Bitcoin. So that's a big bank that gets in a lot of trouble for laundering money for the cartels and won't let you have Bitcoin. Go figure. Yeah, so is it possible to add a trigger to initiate panic sell? For most of the strategies, we already have turn off buy, turn on buy, and panic sell. Panic sell is something that's for you. You can set one up. You can set up a trigger. I don't have any crazy triggers set up. You in config, you can set up, well, I got to log back in. That's what I get. Anywho, yeah, you can set up a trigger inside of the triggers and do a panic sell if you want to. I don't suggest it. It will trigger the next time it corrects. You're going to wish you hadn't killed those bags, probably. Or maybe not. Maybe you just want to use the money fresh and get it reinvested again and moving again. And that's you. And you should always do what you need to do for yourself because this is not mainstream yet. And it's your money. And really, everyone has their own risk tolerance. Should we get out of using CH with bull strategies when bear market comes? Dex is working on a bear market strategy right now, some form of a shorting strategy. And we should know more about that in the next couple of months. He is testing it out, or they are testing it out. Dex, yeah. I don't know how to do that one. All right, yeah, so there should hopefully be a bear market strategy. Honestly, scalping. At that point, like, once Bitcoin goes over Original stock to flow had it over 100,000. The new stock to flow has it over 200,000. Anything over this 200,000, I'm personally putting into kind of like danger zone territory. I know we're going parabolic. It's fantastic. We're going to make some money, but make sure once we are over that point that you've got your DCA set up solidly, and make sure you've got 40%, 60%, 80% ready for DCA, because once it snaps down, you're going to want to be able to take advantage of that, because we'll be going sideways. The market does traditionally basically go sideways in between. It may go down a little bit like it did last time around, but really, and I don't have the comparative chart up yet at this moment, there is a comparative that puts our current bull cycle closer to the 2013 bull cycle. So we could be seeing two tops. We're right here. We're literally right here, right now, in this bull cycle. And we're not at the yellow point. Just kind of weird to consider that we are not there yet. What coins are you most excited about for 2021? Hey, KJ, I did see you comment. Thank you for commenting. I'm a Cardano person. Of course, I'm excited for Bitcoin. I'm excited for Ethereum. Really, Cardano is kind of the project that is my 2021 sweetheart project that I've put some money into, and I'm just planning on holding on to it for a long time. I really don't care about price movements on that one. I look at it kind of like how old money markets used to work, where you actually got 5%, 7% returns on a money market. But the beautiful thing about Cardano is that you don't need $25,000 worth of Cardano to get the 5% annual return. You can put 1,000 in, you can put 500 in, and you get 5% returns. And that's just a wonderful thing to see. Yes, the value of Cardano is going to go up. It's going to go down. It's probably going to go really far up. I mean, I'm targeting like $5-ish. I would be really happy with like $3 to $5. I would think that would be just amazing. I'd hit sky high, if anything over like $7-8, and I will probably, cash a little out to buy myself something nice, because we should all have something nice in our lives. Maybe go out on vacation, go take pictures. I do photography. I love doing photography. Yep. We are very early bull cycle. Yes, we are so early, Indiza. You are right. Guys, please understand how early in the bull cycle we are. We have a long ways to go. The summer is going to be long. Things are going to be nuts. And then we're going to go sideways for like 3 years. And then it's going to happen all over again. We're going to rinse and repeat. And some of you guys are going to like start your accounts back up when we hit the next halvening, which will be 2024. And you'll take all of the information you learned today, which is hard, and so much is going to have happened in your life from then. You'll have better jobs. You'll be able to put more money in, or maybe you won't. Or maybe you'll have matured your hodl so that you can pay for a kid to go to college. You realize in the course of like 4 years, all of a sudden you could have a kid in college. You could have a kid. You could have children. You could be married. You could be all of these huge life things, which is just like, and we'll all be here. I'll probably stay through the whole thing. Can you tell us what a bear market looks like compared to a correction? Yes, I can. So bear market, okay, so these are basically really low, and I've got to have the right tool up. There we go, price tool. These are really small corrections for Bitcoin. That was 26%. That was 31%. And those were kind of our big-ish, okay, I mean, that's kind of also, so this correction right here, this was about a 13%. And you can see that, 31%, 26%, 13%. And so what happens with the bear cycle is, I'm on a day chart, good deal. Okay, we're going to go over here to 2017. Here we go. Okay, so 2017, and I already have this set up because I'm kind of crazy. These were 34%, 41%, 40% correction. There was a correction here, which was approximately 30%. We hit these kind of 4 correction periods. It got up here. It went parabolic. We were probably supposed to hit somewhere around 10,000. according to stock to flow, that one was around, 10,000. We were supposed to hit around 7,000, 10,000 on the stock to flow. So when we hit at approximately that, we went parabolic. And this is a parabolic move. So let's just zoom in on that move real quick and see what that looks like. And we went from 7,000 all the way up, and we started kissing 20,000. We did a massive, let's look at that. We did a 30% correction. Then we hit the top of the market at 19,891. Our first correction brought us down 47%. We bounced up. We went to 17,000, and this run brought us all the way down to a 65% correction. Brought us right back down, snapped us to the stock to flow. We snapped under the stock to flow, and you can see right here how we literally like wicked under and snapped to it. And then we started trading sideways. And that movement right there took us, date range, from the start of the top all the way to the bottom, took us 51 days. So it almost took us a month and a half. And at that point, and we'll just kind of change that color, that took us 51 days. And so that is the top to that, and then we traded sideways. And these moves are not terrible. I mean, this is the truth. When you've got a bot and you're still getting multi-day moves that are like 40%, and we bounced and we bounced and we bounced and we bounced. And at that point, we kind of bounced under. We're now into 2019. We're heading towards the next correction, towards the next halvening. 2019, we had a dead cat bounce. We bounced up to like 13,000. A lot of excitement got started. People thought the bull market was starting early. It did not. We snapped back to the stock to flow. And you see how, and I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go way back over. Let's condense this real quick. Condense this. The stock to flow had us at about 7,000. So we're going to say 7,000 is our point at which, and you can see how now, once I condense all of this, we literally played with and snapped over, stayed on top, snapped under, and hit our next halvening back in about February-ish. Right around here was where the next halvening happened. You can see we dropped under it again. And then all of a sudden, kablooey. And now we're in the channel. Let me go back. Here we go. Channel. We're in this channel. It's in this channel still. That's us today. That is literally us today. So there you go, guys. That is the history of the market. So yeah. Which one of you found DexStrats April 9th at 5:57 p.m.? Yeah, there we go. So cool. That's kind of stuff for the day. That is Sunday service. We'll pray to the Bitcoin gods. Thank you, Bitcoin gods. Thank you, Bitcoin whales. Yeah, it's anyone have any further kind of questionables before I end it for the day? Go have some lunch, have some more coffee, and get things started here in New York. Man, it's amazing. Hey, thanks, Tyan. We will do more. Thank you, Pizza Guy. Oh, dear. Call me Pizza Guy. I love, there's Max Kaiser. The coming expected sideways trading you just mentioned should still be a decent climate for scalping, right? Exactly. That's the whole point of looking at the sideways that we had. All of this, like, let's just take it right before the halvening. So I'm going to expand in here real quick, and we're going to look at these movements. And yeah, we're looking at multi-day movements, but they are still movements. Multi-day movement, top to bottom. That's a 30% movement. Inside of that, let's look at the 4-hour on some of this stuff. Where are we? I lost myself. Where did I go? I went to the 4-hour, and then I lost myself. How did I lose myself? Oh, it probably didn't load. Let's let it load for a minute. Yeah, it's having trouble loading. Why is it having trouble loading? Thank you, Go Taste. We're going to bring you on next week, man. I don't know. This is for some reason it's not loading the 4-hour chart when I'm zoomed in like that. Maybe I can zoom in tighter first. So let's see here. Let's go in here. It's a really flat movement area. Really flat movement. Let's see if I can get a 4-hour up. I can't get a 4-hour up. I can't even get a 1-hour up, can I? It's having trouble. It's being a pain. I think it's telling me it's time to end it for the day. Go figure. Why is it not loading up the 4-hour charts? Yeah. I don't know, guys. So there we go. Wrong date. Yeah, probably. It's probably zooming into the wrong date is what's going on, and then I'm losing myself. You can just press auto at the bottom right. Also check the date. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still getting new to all of this stuff. Oh, well, there we go. That's weird. Why did it zoom all the way back there? That's pain. That's pain. Come on. I want sideways movement. So we want to be in here. This is really solid sideways movement. Thank you for that, Indiza. Boop. So let's look at some of these sideways movements. And 2019. I mean, this is 2019. So you just have to be ready for longer holds, really. Look at this. When it comes to this bear market, you just have to be prepared for possibly some longer holds. And it's just a different change in zeitgeist. Like this move right here is an 8% move. That's good for scalping. From here to, here is a 16% move. These things are great for Profit Hero. A 16% move is fantastic for Profit Hero. And it just depends on when you get in and when you're ready to clear your bags and understand that we're snapping to the stock to flow and we're going to be at and around the stock to flow for the entire bear market, like really like going straight across. I just jumped in. Hey, Garfield, I jumped in when I jumped in when you were showing your scalping TSL. Did you adjust it or is default 0.5, 1.5 as fine? So I back test 1.5, 2, and 2.5. And I have found recently that 2 is doing a lot better than 1.5 and 2.5 for one reason or another. Remember, these trends change on us week by week. So during the current trend movements, 2 seems to be the strongest on a number of the coins. I don't have them in front of me at the moment. Again, my exchange, my region is not the same as yours. So you might find that something else works for you. Go in, backtest, make sure you double check each of those config pools when you deploy them to make sure that the DCA is active so that your dollar cost averaging is active because Crypto Hopper does not automatically add your DCA settings when you put a config pool out and it overrides your default settings for DCA. So let's see if we got anything else. I've got one other mention. Yes. So, yep. And we will be doing this, of course, next Sunday. I will do this again. I may or may not be up at the cabin. And yeah, so it's going to be great. For right now, we'll be doing it at what is 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe that's 2 p.m. UTC time for my friends over in Europe. We have a lot of friends in Europe. And at some point, we'll hope to get Go Taste on as well. The timing, we're going to play around with it. I'm also going to try to start doing more videos during the course of the week. It's all going to depend on schedule and whatnot, because as much as I'd love to do this 100% of the time, it will take a little while before we're doing that. But I'm glad we could do this for you guys. Do make sure, maybe we'll even put up a channel or something so people can leave questions that we address on Sundays or during the course of the week. and keep the engagement going. That's the most important thing, guys. We thank you all for being here, of course. The DexStrats mods, all of us, thank you guys for being active, being here. We've got a great group of contributors who are also doing a phenomenal job at making sure people know what's going on and knowing how to use the DexStrats, knowing how to use CryptoHopper. We have better support on DexStrats than CryptoHopper has on their channel on Discord, which is just... It's the way it is. If you haven't reviewed the strategies, make sure you go in, review. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not doing CryptoHopper and you're not doing DexStrats, come over, check it out. I will start adding these sorts of links into all of the videos so that everyone can find what we're doing. Experiment, have fun. Never experiment with more money than you're afraid to lose, because this is a high-risk deal. And yeah, have a great day. Have a great Sunday wherever you are. Have a great end of the day. Have a great beginning of the day. And I will see you next week. So cheers. Take care.